I welcome you all to the second webinar of Steelman's Engage, a 5-day webinar series which would cover a broad spectrum of topics ranging from iron ore, coal, scrap, and steel. The idea is to understand the perspective of industry leaders on various topics identified for discussion and enable our clients to have a better understanding on how each sector is likely to pan out in the near future. I am Nirmal Dev, Editor, Technology, Steel, your host for the afternoon. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our esteemed sponsors for the event, NMDC, Tata Steel, and Rumta Steel. The ongoing session is on Indian iron ore industry outlook financial year 2022. India's iron ore production had fallen by more than 15% in FY21 compared with 245 million tons in FY20 due to the adverse impact of the pandemic and delayed resumption of production at the auction mine leases after the Odisha auctions last year. Thanks to anticipated capacity enhancements by both private and state-owned miners, India's iron ore production is projected to increase to 255 million tons in FY22 from around 205 million tons in FY21, Steelman data shows. I would like to invite our speaker for this session, Ms. Nishtha Mukherjee, who is General Manager, Iron Ore and Scrap at Steelman. She has 8 years of experience in the iron and steel industry. Ms. Mukherjee holds an MBA degree in Finance and Marketing and Bachelor of Engineering in Electronics. Ms. Mukherjee will make a presentation on the Indian iron ore industry outlook. Over to you, Ms. Thank
you so much, sir, for that kind introduction. Please allow me to share my screen. I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, it's perfectly.
Great. Okay, so we'll have a understanding of how the iron and steel industry performed in FY20, FY21, and how do we foresee the iron ore market in FY22. Starting with the crude steel output of India. After registering an output of roughly around 108 million tons in FY20, India's crude steel output witnessed a drop and stood roughly around 102 million tons in FY21 as an impact of the pandemic. However, with lifting of lockdown measures and improvement in the trade activities and operational activities, we have seen quite a bit of recovery in the steel output, both at the primary mills as well as the secondary steel players. And we expect India's crude steel output to rebound to pre-COVID levels and stand roughly around 110 million tons in FY22. If we talk about the first half of FY22, that is April till September, India's crude steel output has recorded an YOY increase of around 30% and was recorded roughly around 57 million tons. So we expect crude steel production to rebound to pre-COVID levels and stand roughly around at 110 million tons in FY22. Talking next on India's iron ore production. I guess my slide is visible on iron ore production.
I believe there's a momentary snag, so it's not coming.
Okay.
Maybe we have to wait for slide to appear. Yeah, it's perfectly open.
Yeah. Fine. So if we talk about India's iron ore production, so that witnessed again a fall from roughly 245 million ton levels in FY20 to again 204, 205 million tons in FY21. So obviously the decline was because of the steep drop in volumes that came in from Odisha, India's largest iron ore producing state. The reason was again the auction mining leases took a bit of time to start production. The transfers from one mine to other took time, and of course the pandemic related restrictions that limited the volumes. If we talk about Odisha, which is India's largest iron ore producing state, witnessed a drop in volumes from 145 million tons in FY20 to roughly around 107 million tons in FY21, which was the biggest factor in reducing the volumes of India's total iron ore production in FY21. And therefore, there was a considerable drop in India's annual iron ore output volumes in FY21. Notably, 19 working iron ore mining leases were put up for auction towards the in the beginning of the fiscal, because their leases expired in end March 2020, because of which the reduction in volumes was quite significant. But now, if we talk about FY22, so we have seen a recovery in the volumes coming in because the auction mining leases have resumed production, and thanks to the capacity ramp-ups at the existing mining leases, which will also boost up the total iron ore volumes from India. So we expect India's iron ore production volumes to stand roughly around 245 to 250 million tons in this fiscal, FY22. Let's have a quick look at what all factors or what all key miners would add up to this incremental volume in this financial year. Talking about NMDC, India's largest merchant miner, so they are likely to ramp up their production from 35 million tons in FY21 to 44 to 47 million tons in FY22. OMC, Odisha's leading merchant miner, Odisha Mining Corporation, is also expected to ramp up its production from 13 million tons seen in the last fiscal to roughly around 25 million tons in this fiscal. Notably, the two mines, Guwali and Jilin, which remained unoperational for quite some time after they were auctioned in the previous round of auctions, were awarded to OMC, and each of them have an EC limit of 6 million tons per annum. So all these incremental volumes plus the existing ramp up at its OMC's own mines would add up to the incremental volumes from OMC. Apart from that, we also expect the iron ore volumes to increase from other captive miners like JSW, Tata Steel, and SAIL, because everyone wants to secure their iron ore supplies, and hence we expect the volumes to increase from there as well. JSW is likely to plan up its ramp up of operations at its Nuagaon mines, which it had won in the auctions last year. So roughly it has a capacity.
Ms. Bhukuji, I would like to interrupt for a second. The slides are not working actually.
Yes, it's on iron ore production, sir. Largely it's
okay. So this query had come from the audience. Please carry on. Yes.
So the Nuagaon mines, which was auctioned last year and was won by JSW. So JSW plans to ramp up it to 8 million tons capacity and later to 20 million tons. So quite a big amount of increase that we can see in the coming years. Apart from that, Tata Steel also plans to ramp up its production from its Nuamundi mines in Jharkhand to from currently running at around 10 million tons to 19 million tons per annum. If we talk about SAIL, even SAIL is slated to increase its capacity from its existing mining leases. So in total, we can expect volumes to increase in the coming years as well as in FY22. ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India has already started its production from its Goraburani Sagasahi iron ore block, which has an EC limit of 7 million tons per annum. And they are hopeful of producing roughly around 2 million tons of high-grade ore in this year. So summing up all for the iron ore production, we expect volumes to remain roughly around 245 million tons in FY22. Now let's have a quick look at the iron ore exports. So iron ore exports witnessed a sharp increase from roughly around 37 million tons seen in FY20 to around 60 million tons in FY21. The reason was, of course, the Odisha miners liquidating their old inventories, which, the miners which had been auctioned. So they were busy liquidating their iron ore inventories, which shot up the volumes. Plus, of course, the active Chinese buying interest, which resulted in increased bookings for both low grade iron ore as well as for pellets from India. So that was the reason behind shooting up of volumes from 37 million tons in FY20 to 60 million tons in FY21. But in FY22, we have recently seen a slowdown in export bookings, both for iron ore and pellets in the last couple of months, with global iron ore prices witnessing a steep decline, right from $230 per ton CFR levels seen in the month of May, and then falling down to $100 per ton CFR levels. That was quite a significant drop, which resulted in decline in export realizations, both for iron ore and pellets, which in turn lowered the export bookings from India. And also, we have seen lowering of export bookings, drop in global iron ore prices, falling export realizations as combination of factors resulting in lowering export from India. And we expect the volumes to remain around 40 million tons or in the range of 35 to 40 million tons in FY22. Iron ore imports. Although in the first half of FY22, there were no iron ore import volumes seen into India. But yes, when global iron ore prices dropped, we did hear a couple of import bookings taking place from South Africa, especially by the coast-based plants. And South African lump bookings were done quite a bit. But we haven't heard any significant bookings coming in. So we do not see a sharp increase in the iron ore import volumes in the fiscal FY22, and we expect them to remain roughly around 0.5 or 1 million ton levels in this fiscal too. Indian iron ore prices. There has been a dramatic change in the iron ore prices right from the pre-COVID levels. Wherein the Steel Mint Odisha Iron Ore Index that we maintain over here were seen at the levels of rupees 2,000 per ton during the May 20 levels when the lockdown was imposed last year. And then because of demand supply mismatch, MMDR Act changes, and for many other reasons, high bid premiums, of course, the prices rose to rupees 10,000 per ton mark and remained quite a bit. So that was definitely a significant hike in the prices that we saw. The factors that supported this hike was, of course, the slow resumption in the auction mining leases, MMDR Act changes, which largely was on any mining leases who was about to renew its mining leases had to pay an additional amount of 150% of the royalty. Similarly, any captive miner was allowed to sell 50% of its production, subject to the additional payment of 250% and 150% of the royalty, depending upon lumps and fines ratio. And yes, the high bid premiums that were seen in the first round of mine block auctions, wherein bid premiums shot over 100%, and which in turn had to be passed to the end users, and this resulted in hike in offers by the miners, which in turn resulted in increase in iron ore prices in India. However, in recent past couple of months, we have seen a slight correction in the prices, which were largely because of the domestic prices coming down, drop in pellet prices, as well as the global iron ore prices. But that would be interesting to see whether the prices would retract back to the 2000 levels per ton, which were seen in the pre-COVID levels, which seems quite a bit difficult considering the high premiums and the additional volumes which had been charged in the which had been recently imposed in the MMDR Amendment Act. Changing trade dynamics. So with export realizations coming down, we have seen many pellet exporters and pellet making companies diverting their volumes towards the domestic market, having no other option because export realizations had fallen much below than the domestic market and ongoing domestic prices. So because of that, we have seen an increase in the domestic trade volumes of pellets and a drop in prices both in exports as well as domestic. Indian pellet export prices had corrected quite a bit, tracking the global prices, even from the levels of $240 per ton FOB levels to $100 per ton FOB levels in the month of September 2021. So, with decline in the Indian pellet export offers, we have seen the diversion of these materials into domestic market, which has resulted in increase in the domestic trade volumes and pressured the domestic pellet prices. So there's the steel mint pellet index that we maintain, which shows a decline in the prices, say for example, at the 16,000 levels seen somewhere in July to falling to 10,000, 11,000 levels in the month of September. On the other hand, we have seen an increase in the trade volumes in the domestic market, which was of course the result of the increased diversion of export volumes towards the domestic market. The factors that we need to watch out for the second half of FY22, demand of iron ore may be hit from the secondary sector because of the ongoing power and coal shortage. Auction mining leases in Odisha, which were won by the merchant miner at higher bid, yes, they might find it hard to retain it. The recent round of mine block auctions in Odisha, in which 10 iron ore mine blocks were put up for auction, also witnessed aggressive response and witnessed quite amount of higher bids, with average bids ranging from around 117%. And of course, that how will global iron ore prices pan out, because in turn somewhere it will derive the export prices for pellets as well as for iron ore for India. So that was all for the presentation side. Any questions? We'll be happy to take it up.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Mukherjee, for your holistic and comprehensive presentation. Of course, we have a few questions coming up. I see a few questions have already arrived from the audience. But first of all, I would like to put forward a few questions to you. Do you foresee domestic iron ore prices going back to pre-COVID levels?
I do expect some correction from the current levels, but we do not expect the prices to come down to the pre-COVID levels, considering the bid premiums, which were already high in the first round of auctions that we saw in 2020, plus the additional changes amount that were levied by the MMDR Amendment Act. Like all the leases that were renewed after them had to pay 150% of the royalty. So these are the additional costs that have come up for the miners, and they have been passing it on to the end users. So because of these reasons, we do not see the prices coming down to at least rupees 2,000 per ton levels, which were seen earlier in April 20 or May 20.
Very, very important point. Actually, there have been some structural changes in the industry because of the MMDR Amendment Act, and that's why there has been a structural shift in iron ore prices, which is why it is difficult to for prices to claw back to pre-COVID levels because of the structural change in prices and higher prices that miners have to pay to the government. It's a very important point, actually. Ms. Mukherjee, my next question to you, do you expect any immediate impact in production from the mines auction recently?
Since out of the 10 iron ore mine blocks that were auctioned recently, only 4 were brownfield and rest were all virgin mines. So we do not foresee a significant impact coming in from these virgin mines, because for them the clearances would take a bit of time. But yes, for the brownfield, at least 1 to 2 mines could see some volumes coming in, but do not see a significant impact from them as well, at least for this fiscal. Because automatically they would start, if they plan to, it would be somewhere in the November, and that would be a matter of 3 to 4 months or so.
Respectively. So, Of course, I have seen the audience also coming up with the same question because it's, of course, a very hot topic. Uh, what is the current status of the National Mineral Index?
Okay. So as per the latest update that we had, committee was formed to understand the issues that were pertaining to the current ongoing method of IBM, the average selling price, and understand its shortcoming, discuss it with the stakeholders and industry stalwarts, and understand the issues that had been rising quite a time, say for example royalty on royalty, then delayed publication of average sale price currently, because the prices are to be opened on a spot basis, and currently the prices are being delayed by 2 to 3 months. So these were the some concerns that were put up by the industry people, and there was a committee that had been formed to study all these findings. So that's the latest update we have on it as of now.
Yes. And I would just like to add one or two points because I see plenty of questions coming on the NMI from from those participating from the audience. That there have been certain concerns voiced by miners about import prices for NMI and whether we calculate import prices, because as we know that the National Mineral Index will be modeled on the National Coal Index, and the National Coal Index takes into reckoning prices of imported coal of different origins. So, because India imports a lot of coal from different countries, but comparatively, India's iron ore imports are quite insignificant. And as Ms. Mukherjee's presentation pointed out, that imports have been coming down over the last couple of years, more than 3 years. And so, calculation of import prices in NMI, this is a concern which has been raised by the industry, that they could lift the prices, the domestic prices of iron ore, because import prices are, as we saw, the iron ore rally last year due to China's coming back from COVID and fiscal stimulus and the iron ore consumption. And we saw how global prices rose last year, increased by leaps and bounds. In fact, it reached $100 in May, June. So, this import prices calculation in the NMI will be a big problem for miners, and this particular concern has been raised by the miners, and this concern will be addressed by the expert panel, NMI panel, with the government as well. I see one or two other questions that have come along. I believe Ms. Mukherjee will has already answered a few of those questions. Where do you see iron ore prices going in the next 2 or 3 months? So, Ms. Mukherjee, if we just have a short answer from you, where do you see iron ore, domestic iron ore prices going in the coming 2 or 3 months?
We'll expect some correction from the current ongoing levels. Uh, but yes, as I cited earlier, we do not see the prices coming down sharply to the pre-COVID levels. If again, that is also very uncertain to say, considering the ongoing coal shortage and power crisis issues, because that has been a matter of concern since last 2 weeks or so, globally as well as in India. So at the moment, it would be very difficult to predict, because if we see sponge iron and other commodity prices are all trading at 10 years high or all time high, the domestic scrap or sponge iron prices. So if the bids from these players keep on increasing and the export prices also witness an increase, so obviously there could be a chance for the pellet players and the miners to raise the offers. uh, but yes, I mean, supply side also would be a concern. Last couple of months we have seen the supplies getting impacted because of monsoons, which is a common thing that happens every year. But yes, if the volume, we do not foresee a sharp change in the prices in the near short term.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, that's a very important point that has been made. Of course, there are one or two very interesting questions that I can see here. A lot of them have already been answered during the course of Ms. Mukherjee's presentation. The iron ore production of 250 million tons that steel mill is estimating, which has come across through Ms. Mukherjee's presentation, include volumes by captive miners as well. So it is India's iron ore production. It is not merchant iron ore production. It is India's iron ore production that we are estimating, and it includes volumes by all the miners. Of course, the one other question that I see on my chat box here is it has also been answered by Ms. Mukherjee during the course of a presentation. NMDC, the projected volume, production volume in FY22 is around 45 million tons. It's slated to go further to 70 million tons in the long term. But NMDC has already said that from 34-35, production is going to climb to 44-45 million tons in FY22. So these are questions. Of course, there is another very interesting question that has come up. It is about OMC auctions and the frequency of OMC auctions. The question is that can you please confirm if OMC has scheduled iron ore auctions from bi-monthly to monthly? Well, would you like to add anything, Ms. Mukherjee?
Yes, they have started increasing, and Guwahati and Jilin adding to the kitty of OMC. So we have seen OMC now auctioning both lumps and fines in the same month. Earlier, it used to be bi-monthly. If it's 1 month lumps, then next month could have been fines. But now with volumes coming in from its ramp up at existing mining leases, plus the Guwahati and Jilin mines, which were recently awarded to OMC after the previous winners could not start production from those mines. So we have seen OMC offering both lumps and fines in the same month. And the volumes also have increased in the auctions that have been put up.
Yes. A few other questions are relating to China, which doesn't directly concern the subject of this webinar. But of course, now that power crisis has come, the particular question is that whether China will start sourcing pellets dramatically instead of iron ore, because they need a lot less power to work with pellets. But China's import of pellets, as we know, is a cyclical thing. During winter, when there are winter heating cuts and there are restrictions on sintering, China's pellet imports usually rise. So that could be cyclical rather than structural. And of course, the China production cuts, how long they will continue after March 2022, and what will be the extent of the production cuts, we're not very sure. So it's very difficult right now to anticipate what China's pellet production will be, or what China's pellet imports will be next year. And there is another interesting question that I see here. It's about pellet exports and what the government is doing about pellet exports. As we know, it's a very controversial subject, and there are PILs pending in the court, and matter is sub judice. So it's better that we refrain from discussing it at length. But nothing final has emerged, and of course PILs have been filed and the court is considering the matter. So that is it. And of course there are questions relating to the NMI that we have already tried to answer, and the queries that miners have raised about NMI we have tried to answer. And what about the expected steel production? Domestic steel production is going up, and the estimated figure in FY22. So a little long term, if we take a perspective, say in FY23 or for next year, do you see that iron ore production, domestic iron ore production going up? I mean, for the coming 2-3 years?
So yes, we have seen a good amount of lineups of the increase in the EC limits, which have been filed by especially by the integrated steel players, because everyone wants to secure their long-term iron ore supplies. So yes, we do foresee an increase in the iron ore supplies, but just to add up, like we also expect an increase in the scrap supplies in the coming term with the new auto scrappage policy coming in. So somehow, we also expect India's scrap generation and scrap demand to increase from the current levels of say 30-35 million tons. So even that is likely to witness an increase, and it will also add up to the crude steel raw material input, if we talk about so. So yes, both iron ore and scrap supplies, we expect an increase in the coming time.
A very relevant and important point. Well, I see there are many questions waiting to be answered, but we are running short of time and we can't accommodate all the questions due to time constraints, of course. And we have to bring this webinar to a close. Again, I would like to thank you all for participating, and a very big thank you to Ms. Mukherjee and all our viewers for joining in. We hope there were a lot of key takeaways from this interesting session, which all our viewers must have surely enjoyed. Also, we would like to again extend our gratitude to our sponsors, NMDC, Tata Steel, and Rumta Steel for their support and cooperation. And of course, our supporting partners, Indian Steel Association and Steel Users Federation of India.